let's jump in. Let's get started. Keep this going. Figure out what my next steps are and how long that'll take. Whether or not I'll get it done before I die. Before we game over. I don't think it's actually going to be death. It's just going to be a disaster. And I'm not 100% confident that I can actually manage all of the disaster that needs to be managed. Because, like, we have some metal refining to do. We have some more glass to make. We're not really in the best of positions at the moment. This is still not connected. No, it is connected. I just hadn't unpaused yet. Yep, of course, naturally. We're fine. We're fine. Well, that worked out. I guess having more solar panels has been working out pretty well. This is still not connected? Is this... What's going on here? It is connected. There's just no power? There is power. I figured it out. Everything's fine. Alright. Skill points. We've got some more work happening over here. I should probably be planting more wheezeworts kind of around this area to try and manage the temperature a little bit. Not that it'll do a whole lot, but it'll do more than we've been doing, given, you know, how bad this is at the moment. What's the radius on the wheezeworts? And it is somewhat ameliorated by ground, but not a lot. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So if I look at, like, how bad the temperature is, obviously the bulk of it is, you know, here in the kitchen and down here where I'm running the, you know, 75-degree salt water through over here. Don't wheezeworts have a max temp they can live in, do they? 95. If we get to 95, then I have additional concerns. But yeah, I feel like planting a couple of wheezeworts around here to maybe partially manage some of the issues seems like it would be a good idea. It seems like it would be helpful. It's not going to do a whole lot, but certainly better than nothing. Which is, like, right now I'm trying to get some of this radiant piping here so I can funnel cooler liquid through. And that'll do something. I don't know how much that'll do. And there's also the problem that I don't have enough oxygen. That is actually very real right now. And this stuff is growing again now that I'm pumping some more oxygen through here, so that's good. And then I may actually need to continue piping this down to, like, this area, because I don't want this to I don't want the max pressure issue, which we're kind of getting a little bit here and here. Run radiant pipe through metal tile under the hot buildings. Let them transfer heat directly through contact of solids than via gas. Oh, that's okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I hadn't thought of that, but the temperature transfer there is probably easier to manage, huh? Well, the plan is still to run through this area, mostly through the empty space, but bolt your liquid heat sink under hot buildings. Yep, and then you can also do, like, temp shift plate to facilitate that transfer, but that's also very metal expensive. Is there, is there... I know there's insulated tile. I guess there was metal tile. But that requires a lot of metal. All of this requires a lot of metal. Did we open this up? It looks like this almost got opened up. So at some point, we'll be able to get aluminum out of this aluminum volcano. And that might help with the process. But, alright. We have some stuff being done here. So some work is being done, but that's not really helping with the oxygen problem. Which, let's be real, is still a problem at the moment. Power is not doing great. There's a lot of things that need power. Like the thing that generates the metal that I need to finish this problem. Oh, peat is definitely still an issue. We are also still out of algae, who could have guessed? Which means my solutions for oxygen are low. Got some electrolyzers going, but the gas pressure issue with the electrolyzers is definitely real. I think I need to spread those out, the two of them. But whatever. I guess I could potentially run a third electrolyzer somewhere else. And do more about piping the gas away. Kind of doesn't super matter where I put it. Maybe down here would be a good spot. And then continue piping the hydrogen up to this hydrogen generator. Yeah, not too difficult to just run gas pipe all over the place. It's not really a problem. And it'll be another source of oxygen, which is good, because we kind of need another source of oxygen, I think. I guess the other problem is we need to be able to pipe the clean water into there. Clean. For some value of clean, the water. The extremely food poisoned clean water. Which isn't that difficult to do from here, I think. You can just run a water pipe down here. And then power? I think I still want to run the heavy watt to it. Which is doable. Especially through this space that nobody really walks through anyway. And it will, once again, give my dupes something to do. Which they need. You know, that would be helpful. And if I do it over here, then it spreads to, like, this is where I need oxygen as well in order for my dupes to be able to get down into this space. Which they also have a lot to do down here. And not enough oxygen is making it to these gas masks. Like, I am running some of the extra oxygen from here down that way. But it's also just running through this gas vent, which is... There's room for a lot more gas here. So, running another electrolyzer seems like the best way to get more oxygen out of the resources I have. So I guess let's do that. Let's get that planned out. And I think I want to kind of build this pretty much the same way that I've built this. I'm okay with kind of the way this functions. So we'll just run another thing that looks kind of like this. And I just need to figure out where I'm doing it. Maybe not in the carbon dioxide. Because I want the oxygen to actually flow out. And it's not going to flow through the carbon dioxide because the carbon dioxide is heavier until it gets overpressured. Of course, by the time it gets overpressured, it's not going to produce anymore. So it's going to produce really slowly, which I think is kind of always the problem with electrolyzers, is they don't produce at max rate because of overpressure concerns, unless you really stuff them with gas pumps. And then, like, the power production from the hydrogen is just completely offset by the infrastructure you're surrounding the electrolyzers with. How much carbon dioxide pressure is there? Not a lot, actually. It's down in the, like, 300 range. So maybe it's fine. I could even run the hot salt water here. Because whatever I funnel through this is going to come out pretty overheated anyway, right? That's how it works? Yeah, regardless of the temperature of the incoming liquid, it's going to come out at 70 degrees. Even say leave the gas pumps off until I've purged the carbon dioxide from the box I put them in. Yeah. The gas pump in general is only going to run... Like, I kind of like the structure that I have here, where it's free to flow out downward, and then the gas pump only turns on if it detects hydrogen, so that it can pump the hydrogen out, and then the oxygen just flows out from below. Which is admittedly something that suffers from overpressure concerns. But the other solution is run an extra gas pump, and I don't really want to run the extra gas pump. Yeah, this is off because we started overflowing water here, but maybe if I send this water elsewhere, it'll work out better. Let me try that. So that would be an electrolyzer like here. Actually, I need to do it off of this because I don't want them running. I don't want them needing to equip the oxygen mask in order to do it. So let's do it here. So that will be an electrolyzer here. Move the hydrogen sensor further down so the gas pumps pull from a plus shape from the bottom left of the pump. I think it's the top right of the pump, actually, but yes, I understand what you mean. Oh, maybe it's bottom right. Okay. Yeah, sure. I could do that. That's not too bad. So that would be... I think it's right as opposed to left, but I'm not positive. That would be here. And then the pump would be here. Something like that. Automation, the pump connects to a buffer. The pump connects to a buffer that is not made out of steel. The fluid sim pushes light fluids up and left. Oh, interesting. So if you had hydrogen and carbon dioxide in one row, they'd sort themselves left-right since they can't go vertical. I was not aware of that. That needs to connect there. And then we need plumbing. Disconnect this while we're at it. Then we need ventilation. So this pump is filtering oxygen. This filter is filtering chlorine. So we're going to need another filter to filter the hydrogen. And that can be here, I guess. And I am okay with running this straight back into this, I think. Until that somehow oversaturates, in which case we'll figure that out later, I guess. And then the hydrogen needs to go back up to here. So, alright, just run that all the way back up. Seems fine. What the heck is... Buddy. Alright, well that's going to take some time to accomplish, so we'll let our dupes handle that. And double check whatever's happening over here. Still in the process of building the natural gas facility to complement the natural gas geyser that has not been opened yet. This is going to need some tile here, it turns out. And then this stuff is kind of only being managed when my dupes are no longer injured by the high heat, which is a constant problem. But all right, I guess we're ready to begin. Breathability? What are you talking about? There's polluted oxygen everywhere. Maybe not everywhere, but like in a lot of places. I should probably get rid of these doors, huh? Since this area is now no longer getting as much polluted oxygen because of the doors, probably. Yeah, let's just get rid of all these doors. Let the polluted oxygen flow. Alright. Ready to unpause and let people do things. New printables are available, really? We can print some puffed eggs! Hey, look, it's food. Oh, yeah, I was gonna start transferring some of these Wheezeworts. Where am I gonna put the Wheezeworts? Like, the bulk of the temperature is coming from here and here. So, like, here makes sense for Wheezeworts as long as the radiation doesn't cause issues for other things. So maybe I'll put it over here where nobody's walking? Or maybe I could just open up this sort of... this abyssalite wall into the cold area, and that'll help. Slowly but surely. That's a thought. I am right next to this cold biome. Is there some weird thing about the transfer of temperature between biomes? Like, I know abyssalite is a very good insulator, but if you remove the abyssalite, how fast does that temperature transfer? Like, I'm assuming at a normal speed relative to usual temperature transfer stuff, but I don't know if there's some actual, like, behind-the-scenes rule that makes temperature stick to biomes a little bit more or not. Once you remove the abyssalite, subject to all the usual thermodynamics. Okay, so removing the abyssalite would actually be a good way to cool down this area, at least a little bit. But also, I like the idea of having some sort of constant cold producer, like a Wheezewort, in this area. So maybe we'll set up... yeah, okay, regular farm tile. No need to do anything particularly interesting here. In an area that's not going to interfere too much with all of the other things that are going on. Bionic power is an issue, as usual. I keep making these, and it keeps not being enough. How many of these do I need to make in order to shut you idiots up? more than that, I guess. Let's try that. Maybe that'll keep y'all occupied for a little bit longer. Oh, there's also skills. I forgot that I had skill points to give to people. Lindsay could easily handle a skill point, as can... Senna's a little more concerning. I don't know if I want to give Senna a skill point. I want Senna to be even more mad about the lack of morale on Grassona. On account of it is a gross place. What skill do I need to give you? Tempted to give you the increased farming again, since you are doing some farming here. What else are you doing that I need to... support you in? I mean, building and constructing is kind of the big thing that everybody's doing right now, but we're doing a lot of farming stuff, so maybe let's give you the farming point. Interested in ranching, so maybe once we get to that point, we can do some ranching too. That'd be cool. This isn't even connected. That's got to connect. Cool. No power consumers. Yeah, we're working on it. It's a work in progress. This can actually supply this network. On board with permanently supplying power here. That would help. Maybe some. Not that any of that matters until this gets up and running. Do I need to use smart batteries here? Like, do I care about the efficiency of these natural gas generators? I suppose I do. Because natural gas does run out. I don't think I have the refined metal to handle that. Some refined metal. Not a lot of refined metal. Oh, I've got a bunch of lead that I can use. Okay. With drastically reduced overheat temperature. That's very funny. Alright, well, at least one smart battery makes sense. And then we're gonna have to run automation wire to all of them. And that's not that difficult to do. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I don't think I need more than one smart battery, because if I need more battery, I can just use jumbo battery adjacent to the smart battery, and the smart battery will run kind of the same way. It doesn't matter how many batteries I have, as long as at least one of them is smart. Is my understanding of the situation. Alright, that should be good. And this needs to filter exactly hydrogen. And needs power. Yes, that's correct. Oh, it looks like it is the bottom left. Okay. Yeah, in that case, I should move this over. Yeah, there's not a better way to do that with this location. Okay. Thank you, materials overlay. Look at all this hydrogen. Where did this hydrogen come from? I guess there was hydrogen down here? And it's been slowly spilling out? That's so funny. Oh, there's so much chlorine over here. Good heavens. This is a hydrogen catch. Okay, we need to put, airflow tiles exactly here, I think. Ah, yes, the polluted water came down. Exactly like it was supposed to. Good. Mop that up, I guess. And once this is all built, we can close this off, because we really don't need... all this stuff getting... Are any of these materials I care about? It's all like igneous rock and sand? And if I want the polluted water, I should grab it now. Or I can just not care. Attribute increase. Cool. I think I'm going to just not care. That seems like a good solution. Grisona's running low on food. That's not great. I thought that the farming was going to be able to handle that. But maybe I was misinformed with how well that's being handled. On the other hand, we don't need that much food for the people that I have here, so... It says food... But it's kind of okay for another 2-point-something cycles at least. Meanwhile, Neolato is a lot closer to running out of food. But the omelets helped, so that's good. Ah, good. The hydrogen over here is flowing up to the place I wanted it. The buffer is built? The buffer is built. I want that to be... Yeah, 5 seconds is probably right. And then this needs... these ones. Okay. I'll do it this way. Which does mean we need to go track down those Wheeze wards. Like, I need to send somebody out here to go grab some of these. Which is, like, doable. Too much liquid. Unacceptable. Are there easier Wheeze wards to grab? Not exactly. Generator idle. Oh, because it's dark. Yeah, that makes sense. And I don't have more glass, so I can't build another one. Well, there's this one. So once they get there, that'll be easy. And this one, I guess we could just grab? Yeah. Yeah, sure. Is Sweepy full? Is that what's going on? Sweepy is very full. It's storing all kinds of stuff. Mostly brine, actually. Which is good. That's what it's supposed to store. And some other stuff. So, you know, as it gets used, I guess. Plant husks. Ooh, plant husks. Did I ever start building exosuits? Oh, I'm low on refined metals. Yep, that's understandable. This needs to detect hydrogen. Let me set this to 10 seconds. The thing about this location for the element sensor is it means that I guess it's not going to pump hydrogen out until there's enough hydrogen to fill up this space, and then it gets through, or maybe as it just comes up, maybe? I guess that doesn't, it's not too bad, actually. Maybe I just leave that as dirt. Maybe I just leave this as dirt. I want it to be opened up, I think. Couldn't reach it from here, I guess. I guess I'm okay with it collecting like that, too, because then it's just not constantly running, which is the other thing that I kind of want to avoid. Alright, everything is on. Now this needs to get closed up, and then we can turn the desalinator back on. Right, everything's connected. The plumbing looks like it's working. The ventilation looks like it's working. Yeah, alright. And then this needs to get enabled. And then power is an issue. Yes, power remains an issue. This is known. But maybe oxygen will be less of an issue. That would be great. How are we doing over here? high stress. Holy no jokes. Low morale. The low morale is an issue, isn't it? We need to send Senna back, I think. I think we need to send Senna back. The morale is causing problems. Yep. Thank you for your time spent here, Senna. Now you are going back home to a place where your morale is hopefully higher, and we'll send somebody else out here. Senna was over here because construction and food, they were doing grilling. So we need to send somebody else that has at least grilling 1. So Ren or Harold. Ren is going to have the same problem. Harold is maybe in an okay position. Alright, Harold it is. The teleporter is firing off. Yes, transmitting passenger. Fantastic. In what way are you expressing yourself, buddy? What is this? Oh, you have a thing that you do when you're overstressed. What is the thing that you do when you're overstressed? Dangerously overeat when stressed. Okay. So that is the way in which you are expressing yourself? Wow, that jumping around is really off-putting, which I guess makes sense. If he's gonna be stressed, everybody's gonna be stressed. Should I let Harold through here? I don't know that I should let Harold through here. Seems dangerous. What are you doing? What is you're storing the lead. We do need the lead to be stored, actually. All right, go store that lead. Yeah, I thought this would be enough bog buckets for 3 people. Maybe I'm misunderstanding how bog buckets work. Alright, this is all set up, I think. Ventilation. So, natural gas will go to here. Will get sent up to these things. And then sent down to our natural gas producers. The producers actually need to send their... I didn't even think about this. We do need to send this carbon dioxide somewhere. I think it's carbon dioxide, right? Gas output is carbon dioxide? Yeah, just carbon dioxide. will be at least 110. Jeez. All right, yeah, send it into the hot area with the rest of the hot, I guess. Maybe through some insulated pipe. Can I just send this straight down? I think I'm gonna have to build other infrastructure if I want to do that. Hello? All right, additional infrastructure to be put into place. Toasty surroundings, no joke. Maybe over-insulated for this area. I wonder if I should be setting up a, I should probably be setting up a water cooler. Because that insulates people from toasty surroundings. Gives them some heat resistance temporarily. It does mean we're going to burn through the water, though, because I don't really have a way to produce bracky in here. Do I have a way to produce bracky in here, actually? How do I get bracky? I think I'm getting it from dew drippers on the other asteroid. Sleet wheat, peppermint, pepper nuts, nosh beans, dew drips, gassy moos. Oh, and water. Alright, yeah, no. Not happening here. But I could use the water to help insulate people via the power of recreation. That is a thought. Where are recreational buildings? Furniture? I thought it was in furniture. It is in furniture. I was being lied to. Where does this go, do you think? People like to gather over here. We can have this be a place with a water cooler for some reason. Where are you going, buddy? Okay, Harold, you need to have different priorities if you're going to be hanging out here, I think. I think is the problem. Cooking is your highest priority, and then you have no other priorities. Okay. Help constructing before help tidying. I mean, I guess store some more lead. That's pretty good. But we really have a lot that needs to be built. So please build. I think my plan was to eventually move all of the personal infrastructure stuff over to here. So like bedrooms and bathrooms and dining room and everything was all more centrally located. But, haven't exactly moved forward on that particular plan. All right, we got a bunch of bog jelly. We got another influx of bog jelly, so food is doing okay here. How are we doing over here? Is this thing running? It is running. Yeah, this is just not pumping out most of the time, though. Ah, there it goes. Power continues to be an issue, sure. But this thing is now running, so that's cool. Some. Some. Not a lot. Yeah, power is such an issue right now. I think that's like my biggest problem. Among all of my other problems. Mop this up. Idle? Really? Oh, that's a lot of idle. Because only so many people can be over here because of the gas masks. Yep, yep. I wonder if I could set up another dock. Since that seems to be the biggest problem, is getting people into here. Bottle full of oxygen. We can empty that out. Maybe then people will be able to breathe. Maybe. Are there any other tasks I can assign people out here? Given the lack of power, I can have people make some power. Actually. There's just no power anywhere. So maybe enable the things that let me produce power if people just aren't going to do anything. Also improve my storage. Really? There's nothing to store? There's flat nothing to go out and pick up? That's impressive, actually. That's, people have done a lot of cleanup, I guess. Should I give him more hamster wheels? Maybe another hamster wheel would help. Maybe 1x more hamster wheel. Up here with the rest of the power generators. Still one idle. Go dig up some nickel? Probably go dig up some nickel. Looks like these are finally getting enough oxygen that people can go on trips down here. So maybe making a little bit more progress on that. This still hasn't opened up, but maybe someday. Very low on food. Oh no. That's not enough food for this coming cycle. What do I do? Do I actually need to make mush bars? Ooh, that's sad. I think we might need to make some mush fry. What all edible materials are on hand? Not enough. Oh, these need peat. That's why we're not getting enough sweat corn, is we're out of peat. We're using peat for everything. And now there is no peat. Forgot to secure food supply. It's kind of true. I've left a bunch of, like, this Mimica out in the wild, so that's just, like, kind of growing on its own. There's Weezeworts out here I can just grab. Yeah. So all the natural growing stuff is all set to auto harvest, so that's good. We can get into here. And there's a little bit of stuff over here. A little bit. Something to do. Let's start with just this, in case there's like a Snactus in it. I could also give them Ovagro. The extremely food poisoned Ovagro. We could slaughter something for the meat. Kill one of these lums? I don't like killing lums. Lums are slow growing. And that's not gonna that's not gonna fix itself within the turn cycle anyway. When barbecue is a lot of kilocalories, that's true. It also requires peat that we don't have. If we slaughter the lums anyway, the lums are tough. I guess I could eat this Rex. has been supplying me with a lot of good feathers. And then we'll just have to track down one of these other Rexes, I guess. No properties here. No, it's still tough meat. God, why? Yeah, it's still tough meat when the Rexes are killed. I think all of the animals out here are tough. Except for the Dartles, I think, aren't tough. Dartles are regular meat. One Dartle is 800 kilocals. Which is not enough meat to actually cook barbecue. Wow. Look at all these dead Dartles. Frozen in sterile atmosphere. That's funny. Kept fresh by all of the chlorine. Mmm, chlorinated meat. What else can I do about food? What are my other sources of food here? I guess I was given a mushroom spore once, but then I didn't do anything about it. I let myself be lulled into a false sense of complacency because I was up around like 100,000 kcals of food just sitting around, and my omelets and stuff were just rotting because refrigerators aren't good at keeping things fresh for too long. Oh, we could go kill the Jawbo. This dude's just sitting here. We could attack you. Turn you into seafood. Jawbo fillet on its own is decent quality. Or I could turn it into smoked fish after a while. How much food is a Jawbo fillet? 12,000 kilocals for one Jawbo? Damn. Alright. Well, that solves my today problems. It does not solve my tomorrow problems. Yeah, y'all can eat whatever you want. I don't like letting them eat Paku fillet because that's easy to cook immediately. But I guess the Jawbo fillet you can just eat. Maybe my tomorrow problems will solve themselves, but I don't think so. What else can I do about this? Toasted Mimica. How much is Toasted Mimica? 1,500? And that happens with relative frequency. A good supplement. What else do I think I can grab here? Find out what those are. Find out what that is. Find out what this is. Go grab a little peat, since apparently there is some left here. What else can I do about this? What kind of food are you, Pokashell? Raw shellfish. Applications. And it can be cooked into cooked seafood. Okay. All right. I guess you're also on the list. Get attacked. And we're finding a bunch of snack fruits, which is great. So, opening up all the random cracks has actually solved a decent chunk of my problems. Wow. Wild. Pokashell molt. It just dropped a molt? It doesn't drop food? Excuse me? Pokashell. There's the shells they leave behind after molting. I guess it just drops the molt. Santa shells drop shellfish. And oak shells drop oak shell molt. Oh, that's not what I was expecting, actually. Well, what can I do with the molt? It can be crushed to produce lime. Okay. Well, I guess that can be on the list of things to do. How do we get Santa shells? Dwells in ethanol, dwells in water. Okay. So if I drop a Pokashell in water instead of salt water, then we can get Santa shells. Is that a thing I care about? Probably. How much water do they need to live in? If it's just like a dusting of water, can we be ranching Santa shells off of that? What do they eat? I don't think I've ever tried to farm Pokashells. What does this look like? thrive in water and eliminate germs. They eat polluted dirt, slime, and rot piles? That's cool. Is actinium included in the shellfish? I suppose it's possible. Unclear. Santa shells are non-hostile critters unless their eggs are nearby. That's cute. Oh, actinium. I get it. I get it. I understand. My my bone deep knowledge of the periodic table is not there. Hundred cycles. How good are your eggs, actually? Maybe we just crack your eggs. Oh. 1,600 kilocals out of Pokeshell Row. I suppose. We do have some lum eggs that we could crack if we really wanted to. Doesn't look like we got blum-lums out of you. I look at the room overlay. 6 critters, which is 5 and the egg. This one is 4 critters, which is 2 and 2. Your not very good shaggy dog story about Oganesson would be lost on me. It's true. It's true. Not only would I not get the joke, that would be a lot of text to put into Twitch chat. Alright, well, I guess grab that then. Not that we have the power to actually incubate it, but, you know, it'll get it out of the way from here. Maybe I just crack this one, actually. I think maybe we just crack that one. And then that'll be enough food for today. We have Dartlex? This is all chlorine here. What a mess. Also, it is still too hot in the kitchen. Some toasty surroundings. Oh, there's blueprints. Forgot to claim my blueprints. Turns out every game is blueprints. Go Team t-shirt. A slightly sweat-stained tee for cheering from the sidelines. I hate that. How are y'all doing? We doing okay here? How goes the production? How goes the building? It's a process. Why doesn't this have power, actually? Did I not connect it correctly? Oh, it doesn't have power because nothing has power. Because the because the power generators aren't turned on yet. Naturally. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, actually. It's fair. High threshold should be like 80. And low threshold should be like 40. I'm pulling these numbers completely out of thin air. I don't actually know. Am I ready to open this up yet? I think the answer is no. Does this sub-circuit need a battery? Is that a bad idea? Maybe that's a good idea. One cute little sub-circuit battery. And then I can run this sub-circuit off of manual power when I need to get started in the beginning. I'm not going to connect it yet, though, because I don't want them running it at the moment. Starvation. Are they, though? Ooh. Devinok is unhappy. Why are you unhappy, Devinok? Low morale. That's a good reason, actually. But we've got Swampy Delights for you. And a water cooler. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Ruby earned a skill point? How do I feel about Ruby earning skill points? Pretty good, mostly. Ruby, what do you want to do with your life? Apparently this stuff. What does this give? Telescopes? I guess eventually I'm going to need to launch a rocket, aren't I? And obtain resources from other asteroids. Oh boy. That's going to be an involved process as well. I want another one of you. In the water. Battery, that's fine. Battery is fine. Battery's not an issue. So what is your problem? You just haven't gone to eat in a while? You can do that. You have that power. You'll be okay. There is enough food today. People will be able to eat. Tomorrow is a separate concern. We were looking at Ruby and deciding whether or not to spend her skill points. Mostly you're doing researching and not much else. We don't have a lot of researching for you to do. Alright, we can change priorities a bit so that you have priorities. That seems fine. And maybe instead of going down this path, somebody needs to go down this path at some point. I guess Ruby can be our Rocketeer here. Eventually. How goes the colony? Well, you know, Hassan. Hello, Hassan. Oh yeah, you're the one that's starving to death. Maybe don't starve to death, you know? Get better at ranching? We don't need you to use a milking station. What does husbandry actually do? Hold on. We look at his vitals. This is the one that is frantically going to the bathroom up here. Hassan, where are you? Here. If I look at your skills. Bio? Yeah, husbandry. Boosted wrangling speed and boosted groom effect duration. Oh, that's pretty cool, actually. Yeah, okay. If you're going to be doing ranching things, then get better at ranching. That seems fine. Let's make sure you are actually doing ranching things. You are building and digging more than you're doing ranching. What if instead you ranched more? That seems fine. Still more skill points? Who's got skill points? I didn't want to spend Senna's skill point before, but maybe he's doing okay now. I don't know what I want to spend it on is the thing. Cuisine? You are still cooking, aren't you? And also are still stressed, but that is improving. Now that stress is dropping from your high morale. Are you still expressing yourself? Constantly? No, I think he's doing fine now. Today's net stress minus 30%. Excellent. Excellent. That is what we needed. I got distracted from something. What did I just get distracted from? There was something I was doing. There was a reason I was paused. And it wasn't to go looking at whether or not I wanted to use Senna's skill points. Food? No, we've managed food for today. Tomorrow is a separate question. But for today, it's fine. Alright, I'm going to spend Senna's skill point. Not sure if that's a good idea, but it is what's happening. I was thinking about trying to farm poke shells. And maybe I could turn them into could that turn that into a Santa shell farm? That is a neat idea. And then we'll have some food. But I think that's slow. I think that's way slower than plants. Not that I have many other plants that I could farm for food. It's like sweatcorn or nothing. Sweepy has room to store, but no power. So I guess we cannot rely on Sweepy at the moment. Power continues to be a problem. I think I wanted more solar panels. But also glass is a problem because power? This takes 1.2 kilowatts while running, which is... We don't have those kinds of kilowatts. What can I do now to prepare for the food problems of tomorrow? I kind of think maybe Sanishel Farm is the only option I have left available to me. Unless I want to eat a Rex. And I don't think I want to eat a Rex. What the heck? Dew seed unidentified subspecies. What? Oh, I have no idea what that means, but I want one. What do I do with it? Unknown mutation. Analyze it at the botanical analyzer. Do I have a botanical analyzer? I can have a botanical analyzer. That's not how you search for analyzer. Maybe I'll finish typing the thing. Oh, I did build a botanical analyzer. It's right here. Yeah, you can analyze dew seeds. It's mostly not doing anything, though, because we haven't had anything to analyze. But now, maybe now we will have something to analyze. That's intriguing. And also doesn't solve my food problems. There is a pile of slime over here if I want to risk slime lung in order to get oxygen, which doesn't handle my food problems. Maybe I should be looking into my food problems. I could grow waterweed? That produces lettuce, right? Maybe I could just open the door to some of this waterweed and start harvesting it. Because, wow, that is a hassle to actually grow domestically. But also, they're frequently too wet, so I can't actually harvest them for lettuce. Sad. Alright, I think my best bet is maybe a Sanishel farm. What do poke shells eat? Poke shells also eat polluted dirt and raw piles, which we have. We have tons of polluted dirt lying around. I've been composting it, but we could feed some poke shells or Sanishels the polluted dirt. I guess 600 kilograms of polluted dirt is not tons of polluted dirt. It is some polluted dirt. How much do you eat on a given cycle? $70 kilograms per cycle. So 600 kilograms of polluted dirt is like 8 point something cycles of keeping one poke shell alive, which is not very good. I'm gonna have to up my polluted dirt production rate. How much polluted dirt does compost go through, actually? Reveal to me your information. It goes through 100 grams a second. And if we said there's 10 minutes in a cycle, so 60,000? $60,000 grams per second per cycle, which is 60 kilograms. So this one compost has been eating about as much as a single poke shell. And we still have a buildup. So if we disable the compost, we'll be able to keep at least one poke shell alive. Maybe just one poke shell, though. Yo, there's algae up here. What the heck is sea comb? Also eats polluted dirt. Phyto oil? Phyto oil produces biodiesel. Huh. Which is basically oil? Which is basically oil. In that it is a combustible liquid. Wow, I am learning all kinds of things during this particular long, distracted pause. Alright, well, there's a Jabbo we can go eat for some point in the future. And also some algae we can pick up for some point in the future. And I don't know what we're going to do about this seacomb business. Seacomb grows upside down, I guess? Seacomb. Mutations. Oh, man. Am I going to be able to plant some mutated dewdrippers? Carries some unexpected genetic markers. God, I can't wait to find out what the hell that means. Produces seacomb leaf every 5 cycles, as long as I give it polluted dirt. It's not too bad, actually. 50 kilograms of seacomb leaf, which is just for phyto oil or allergy meds. I don't care about allergy meds. Okay, well, I'm not getting my oil out of seacomb, I don't think. I think I'm getting my oil out of actual oil processing, since I'm working very hard to set up that infrastructure as it is. So the plan to go wreck this Jawbones day seems solid. And I will worry about anything else that's going on here later. And just hit play, because we don't have anything else going on. I heard a sound. I don't know what that sound was. We need to set some more metal power banks, don't we? stuff is happening or not happening here as appropriate, I think. Stuff continues to happen and or not happen. Yeah, it's doing great. I'll be concerned about that later. We'll worry about what that looks like later. Devonok earned a skill point. I'm not spending your skill point, buddy. I hate to say it. Spending your skill point will only make your problems worse. Low morale. Yep, that's accurate. Oh, I guess I could give him more downtime, actually. That is something that I could do to mitigate this problem. We already have 3 downtime. Isn't 3 a lot of downtime? Isn't 3 more than the starting downtime? Whatever. We're cooking food. Everything's going to be fine. Travaldo earned a skill point. Oh, heck yeah, Travaldo. Oh, we're on Devonok still. Where's Travaldo? You can get super duper hard digging. You love digging. Ada earned a skill point? What does Ada want to learn about? All the generic stuff that Ada is doing has already been skilled up. What else do you do, Ada? You build? You farm a little bit? We could give you a few points in farming. You farm a little bit, huh? Farm a little bit more, I guess. Sure. Food is low. I kind of agree. 240 kilojoules are being consumed per cycle. And each of these is 120 apiece? 120 apiece. Okay. Is it food? It's a megafrond spore. What does that do for me? It's not a megafrond leaf. It's a megafrond spore. Megafronds produce grain and chlorine? Consumes chlorine. Oh, interesting. And are not very pretty. But don't actually need anything in order to be grown? As long as it's not too hot for them. That's the concern. Okay. I mean, there's places where it's cold and we can just slap down a megafrond growth thing. Can I plant a megafrond in a farm tile? I sure can. Huh. Maybe we just do that. How much room does a Megaphron need to grow? I guess this is probably the right place to do it. There's a lot of hydrogen up here, geez. Maybe I need to slap down a gas tank thing here. Megaphron. I hadn't even thought about this. They seem a lot easier to manage than I expected. Okay, let's try it here. Since there's a lot of chlorine here and also it's easy to get to. Banhi earned a skill point. Great. I love that for you. What are we teaching you about? I think we're just giving you more athletics. Become faster, Banhi. Run around. Devonok, mostly going up in stress these days. Low oxygen. Yeah, that would do it. Why is it low oxygen, though? There should be a bunch of polluted oxygen. There's stuff to breathe. It's just yucky. Oh, because it hasn't spread out into here. And it's mostly being produced over here. And then not spreading. Interesting. And then I wanted to run these Pakus out into here, I think. I don't know why I wanted to do this, but I felt like I wanted to do this. I wanted to, like, dig through here and dig down into here. These people have plenty to do. I shouldn't be concerned about giving them additional projects. They're fine. No power consumers. Correct. This get built yet? In the process. Huh, it's just vertical. All right. Plant that Megaphron. How are we doing on breathability? It's getting better, actually. It's, I wouldn't call it great, but it's getting better. Power is still a major concern. Things are moving forward. The Dartle needs to get wrangled. as does the Dartle. Temperature remains not great, but hasn't gotten much worse. And food's actually doing okay. Did we kill another Jabbo? No, we haven't even killed it yet. We just have a bunch of veggie poppers. The omelets are being sufficient. That's great. All right, cool, cool. Now, if only our power concerns could be resolved. We got somebody helping out, and it's some, but it's not enough. It's only a little. I think we need to deconstruct this and build another generator so people have something to do. A lot of chlorine out here. That's pretty ugly. Oh, I was gonna build a Seneschal farm. Do I still want to? Probably. I gotta figure out what that looks like, though. And where I'm doing it. This is starting to look like maybe an okay space for it. Not doing anything else. And it is starting to get oxygen spread out to here. So this bad boy is really doing the thing, actually. This is accomplishing goal, which is great. I love it when goal is accomplished. This bad boy kind of is not accomplishing goal. So maybe I just want this gas pump to not exist. That seems realistic. And that Megafrond is growing and eating the chlorine. Heck yeah. Let's see if I can get more Megafronds in here. Turn this into like an actual Megafrond farm. We actually have some peat. Peat is getting used for peat adjacent purposes. That's maybe good. Unclear. Here. If you're not growing, you can get uprooted. Also, you can get wrangled. Maybe. If I'm lucky. Entirely down to whether or not I am lucky. But yeah, people have what to do. Lots of bleach stone out here. Unrefrigerated because we're out of power? Yeah, I get it. I get it. Alright, how's progress over here? It's going. Slowly but surely. This is going to need another mesh tile here. And this actually looks like it's built out, so maybe we can finish building that there. This number keeps climbing. Poor Devonok. Heat resistant is good. Impervious to toasty surroundings. For a little bit. Morale is even, so high morale isn't helping. Sufficient morale. Okay. I want this to get started, but it's not ready yet. Insufficient resources, natural gas. Yep. Because we're not sending the natural gas down yet. Am I ready to start sending? I gotta spool this up, give it some power here, and then open up this natural gas geyser. It's not dormant anymore, it's just idle. So that means it's gonna start doing the thing. But this needs to have power before it starts doing the thing. And then once it has power, it can start doing the thing, and then that can start sending the natural gas down to the natural gas generators. Yeah, I want to finish this up. I want to close this off. And then once that's ready, we can move on from there into getting the actual oil working. Sainiku earned a skill point. Heck yeah. You've got plenty of morale, so learn how to plumb. All right. Okay, so this is going to be the water intake. So we need to figure out where water is coming from that feeds into here. And I think the way I was thinking about it was I would send water from here. Ah, that's why I didn't. That's why this was still needs to be opened up. I haven't figured out where this water is going. And I think where this water is going is down to here. And we'll do sieves here. And if I am remembering my ratios correctly, it is a sieve and a half for each oil well, so I will need 3 of them. Since oil wells require 1,000 grams per second, and sieves produce 750. Oh, sieves just produce 1,000. Okay, so it's 1 sieve per oil well, and the question was how much polluted water is being produced. And we can have maybe another downstep. How do I want to run this? Probably another separate network for the power consumers down here. How much power do they actually need? Not that much. Wow. But I am gonna have to run power through a variety of different areas. 240, 480. This is another 240. 480, 720. Civs are. Civ. 720, 840, 960. So right here we have 960. And if I want to expand that, it's going to need to be heavy watt. Which is ugly, but the people here, I think, are not that concerned about decor. Let's build the rest of the infra first, I think. And then we'll start worrying about what else we can and can't do. Alright, let's start letting people in here. And we'll see whether or not that's a good idea. Mealy teal planter box. Inspired by genetically modified nature. Thanks. Oh, and then the other thing I can do is if I'm growing megafrons and thus have access to megafrond seeds. Access to lots of megafrond seeds. That's too close. Okay. So it needs to be every other. Did I get to that? Not yet. Okay, good answer. But anyway, if I'm going to be accessing Megafron seeds, I can use them to make something. Not souffles. Frost buns? Yeah, just frost buns. That's fine. It's not great, but it's fine. Because I want my eggs to turn into omelet. On account of that's good value. And then 3 units of Megafrond becomes Frostbund. That's not good value. That's not a good rate. But I don't know what else to do with it. Can make tender brisket. I can make veggie poppers out of spindly grub fruit. What died? 24 kilograms of tough meat available? Presumably we're taking it all up here. Oh, that's the critter drop-off. This is what I wanted to look at. Current contents, none. Okay, sure. We really don't need to look at the hatches. Yeah, I get it technically, but okay. So tough meat is in fact storable up here and is not immediately edible. But that's a lot of tough meat available. And that's enough peat? Alright. Cook me some tender brisket. I need the food. I need the food more than the Rex does. Sanish Farm. Sanish Farm. God. Being able to stay on task is a gift that is unappreciated by the people that have it. Can they get here from here? If I were to have you... Okay. Not from here, no, but from here. So if I wanted you to be able to get here, from here, I'd need to build more ladder. Or like a tile. That would also do it. And then that could be my Sanishell farm, if I was so interested. If I was inclined to go Sanishell farming. That's 90. Remind me about ranches. Ranches is 96. Stables. 96. Yeah, this one doesn't need to be as wide because I'm not using farming space. Dasha Saltvine Seed. Oh. Oh, we opened this up. That's cool. Good job. Go team. Unreachable. Yeah, okay. That's fair. I mean, I could open it up and then it'd be reachable. Also, get me some more rust, I guess. How much rust do I have? Dasha Salt Vines. Those also eat chlorine in mild amounts. I guess this needs to be tagged. I think I need to know how much rust I have at all times, since that is also a thing that is going into my oxygen production. What do Mimicas need? They need dirt. We have plenty of dirt. That's good. 10 by 9. 12 by 8 is 96. But it also needs a pool for the Poké Shells. So, like if I were to do 11 by 8, it would also have like a 9 wide pool, so it'd be 97, 96. Oh. Yeah, I kind of like that, actually. Let's do it this way. Like that. then we'll have door here. Tile. Tile. So this extra space will be opened up. And be the pit. So it's going to need a drainer. When I say drainer, bottle emptier. And we'll have to figure out putting the grooming station. I guess the grooming station can be in a little bit of water. I don't know if the grooming station can actually be in water or not. Well, it's going to need a critter drop-off. It's going to need a critter feeder. And it's going to need a grooming station, which is a station, presumably. I guess we'll find out whether or not this works. Go to town, kids! Something to do. Ren earned a skill point. Good. Great. Love that. What are you doing with your life, Ren? You've got athletics, cuisine, and strength. Yep. So what you're doing is you're cooking and you're tidying. Is that what I'm hearing? Yes. Exactly. Exactly. Love it. I cannot give you any more skill points that will help in the things that you are planning on doing. If the grooming station couldn't be in water, how would they groom the Paco? A very good question. I don't have that answer because I've never done it, so I'm not sure. I guess I could give you a point in digging. You could do some excavation with your time, but mostly you're not doing that. I don't want new people to do things that they're bad at. Can also keep morale needs low by not assigning points. Yeah, I think that's where I'm at. This idiot can keep doing the things that he's doing. And there's no way to make it better, so I'm just not going to bother. How are we doing over here? Right, I needed to get this going. Busy days. Lots to do. You're good on food. We're good on food for today. People are operating. Look at those operators operate. Keep on operating, buddy. Thank you for operating. 14. And Harold's high also. Jeez. I gotta do something about morale here. Oh, this isn't a mess hall. It's not big enough. If it was bigger, it'd be a mess hall. Oh, but I closed it off in order to put this there. I could just deconstruct this door, and then it would be a mess hall again, I think. Remove conflicting buildings. Okay. So we gotta put the triage cot somewhere else. Here, for example. Here, for example. Doesn't matter, just somewhere. As long as it's not in the mess hall. And that'll help a lot with the morale. Like, 3 more points of morale is, like, a big deal here. Yeah, now it's a mess hall. Oh, man. No wonder I was doing so poorly. No wonder things were such a problem. Alright, so you are going to bring over Pokeshells and Pokeshell spawns. Once we crack open another thing of Pokeshells, I suppose. Where am I going to get my Pokeshells from? Here? Seems reasonable. This is going to bring in standard regular water until I tell it not to. The beavers will not forget your support in the Great War. What Great War? What game is this? This sounds like Dwarf Fortress talk. I figure any piece of gaming information that I don't understand is probably Dwarf Fortress. But I've been wrong about that in the past, so. Alright, this is going to contain these things exactly. And this is going to be disabled. Can I empty the building? I'll have to deconstruct the building. Okay. And this can enable auto-bottling to make some water. Oh, Against the Storm! Yes. I have played Against the Storm, some. I have enjoyed my time in Against the Storm. I was thrown off by the Great War. What, were there Great Wars in Against the Storm? Because that's an intimidating concept. How are we doing over here? You're fine. Don't come yelling to me about your 10k food. You only need 3k a cycle. Y'all are gonna be great. These idiots, on the other hand, they have concerns. I don't know how much concerns, but some concerns. This can be a Mega Frond, yeah? Oh, that's also too close. Okay. Who's starving? Which idiot? It's Hassan again. It's always Hassan. Why is he like that? Flavor text of a +3 resolve reward from orders. Ah, okay, alright. That's neat. Transit tubes? I guess eventually I'm going to be making plastic, right? It's a thing I want at some point. Large liquid fuel tank. I think we were going to power our rockets with carbon dioxide. Glass blowing. Window tiles, arrow pots, and sun lamps. Not yet. Can be paired with beach chairs. Sure. Continue giving my dupes things to do. Alright, this is all growing again, which means my peat has been not fully spent somehow. That's odd. Oh, we have aluminum. This got opened up. Or maybe just produced. Unclear if it got opened up. Unreachable. Sad. How much aluminum? How hot are those chunks? This aluminum is 517 degrees Celsius. Briefly. It's not cooling down very fast. Okay, hang on. We have to make sure that we're not actually trying to store hot aluminum. Do not store the aluminum. The molten aluminum apparently spilled all the way to here before solidifying. So yeah, let that cool off a bit. As the chlorine gas periodically spikes to hundreds of Celsius. A lot of chlorine out here. My god, these darts are a problem. 0.9 DTU. It's something like that. Yeah. 0.910 DTUGC. So we'll keep an eye on how that heat spreads. But mostly it's getting cooled off by the adjacent gases and by the general temperature of the biome. You came all the way down here, did nothing, and then turned around. Great use of a gas mask, buddy. Supplying fabrication materials. Which fabrication materials? Oh, iron. I see. Oh, eggshells. Sure. With a face full of chlorine. Yeah, that's very helpful. Can this be a Megaphron? Yes, okay. So there needs to be 2 space in between each Megaphron. Kind of surprised by the amount of peat I'm still hanging on to. Are people just not... This broke. Why? Received damage from receiving an incorrect substance. Oh, is it sitting on top of... It is absolutely sitting on top of the wrong... Yep. It broke from receiving hydrogen because I'm dumb. this isn't being powered? Because it's powered from only this network. Which, yes, is not receiving power. Fully agree. Food is once again a problem. Wild, groomed, and happy. Okay, cool. Alright, that is disable auto bottling. That's probably enough water? And there is food for you? Okay, is that not enough water? Maybe that's not enough water. Because it doesn't seem like it is dwelling in water at the moment. Your napkin math says if you drop that chunk into a tile of water, like a full tile of water, okay, it would raise the water temp by about 20 C to equalize it. That's a lot of heat. I mean, in a one chunk tile of water, yes. That feels like a lot of heat. Look, this poor Dartle is dying because it's too close to the volcano. Hope this volcano doesn't kill me. It is far enough away and in the cold biome, so I'm not like that worried. Food poisoning. Oh no. All right, we'll have to make some more curative tablets. Is rad pills? What are those made out of? Also coal. Huh. Wow, coal does so many things. It's the universal cure-all. You better print me some food. Damn it. Alright, print the curative tablets. What are my poor idiots eating? Oh, this is almost done. Okay, there'll be enough food. They'll be fine. $200 kilograms times 500 C times 0.9 versus 1,000 times 20 C times 4. Sure. I mean, I believe you. I don't disbelieve on the math. What's wrong? Why are you unhappy? Pressure. Ah, there's not enough chlorine out here. It's eating all the chlorine. Thought there was more chlorine than that. But maybe it's actually eating all the chlorine? That's kind of funny. Well, now there's carbon dioxide, which that's going to probably cause problems. Okay, get out of there, buddy. Thank you, Harold, for your services. Do not die. Move out, and you're no longer allowed in here. I guess standing in the high temperature crude oil is maybe causing problems. Yeah, there it is. Do I have to build a door here? I might have to build a door here so they don't come in from the other side and just stand in the oil. Alright. Standard permissions are don't come in here. Don't stand in the hot oil. Come in from above if you need to. The surroundings, they are toasty. Invalid building location. Okay, but the piping is finished? The piping is finished, so this can be finished as well. And then once this is finished, we can start getting everything kicked into gear here, I think. Ah! Stress reduced! The mess hall did the thing. Good job, mess hall. Proud of you. I don't think that's enough food, but it is some food. So we'll see. But this waterweed is just growing here? I love that. Good job, that waterweed. Harvest ready. Oh, I don't see that every day. No power. Yep. Yep. Standard. Standard, really. Understandable. Nobody's come in here. Oh, they can't come in here because of the lack of oxygen here. And this oxygen isn't moving. Because why? Because of the filter. The filter has no power. Alright, once... Oh, don't do that. That's going to cause problems. Alright, I guess we get yet another manual generator for our poor idiots until my power problems go away, which seems like it might be a while. Cool, and we will have food for tomorrow also. Fantastic. I'm gonna need to farm out more nickel. So a thing for my my little idiots to do is go mine out more nickel somewhere. Find some good spots for it. good spots to go farming metals. Actually. Actually, is that going to cause problems? Room size 85. Okay, no, it's not going to cause problems. Alright, this isn't enough water to cause the Poké Shell to want to become a Santa Shell, which is really what I'm looking for here. So, enable the auto-bottling one more time. Meteor showers! They drop in ice! Snow meteor. That's so cool. Thank you for the water. Water from on high. Alright, this is all built. Is it time to start it functioning? I think it might be time to turn this mess on. And the way that looks is as follows. No filter specified. That's wrong. This needs to be filtering out natural gas. And this needs to be opened up. Oh, all this stuff needs to be swept up, too, if I care about any of it. Like, let's just move all of the water to a place where it is more easily accessible. The abyssalite on the floor I really don't care about. But the water maybe. The granite not so much. That looks fully opened. Hot natural gas. Yeah, alright. Actually, okay, that's enough. That's enough. You don't need to be in here. And in fact, maybe just don't. Maybe nobody goes in there again. Right now this is pulling 360. Yeah, because it's the gas and that. It doesn't matter, actually, until this starts functioning. So, once the natural gas geyser starts going, then we can start we can start running this again. But until then, I think it doesn't matter. So I guess this water is just abandoned. Sorry, water. What's up with you? You have light wounds. Yucky. I guess from standing in all the heat. Because there is a fair chunk of heat down here. Oh, I didn't consider that. Yeah, okay. Is power not connected, actually? We didn't connect power down here. Oh, that's going to be a problem. You know what? Putting the pump there. I think we're just going to run the heavy watt through here. I think that is going to be the plan. Are you currently losing health? No. But that's not a lot of health. Yeah, you're running around slowly. Let's fix you. Oh, here we go. The natural gas is happening. All right. Time to reconnect the power. Breathability where? One or more buildings are entombed. That doesn't matter. I know oxygen is low. Is anybody currently in a problem? No. Store dew seed. Is that what I wanted? I'm mostly using the dew seeds, I think. The sweat corn seeds can definitely go. And this is opened up? Is this opened up? Activate. Getting more salt water here. That's great. Getting more oxygen. That's also great. Cool. And then this is now functioning, which means we don't need to be running this one. Maybe. Probably. No, this still is not enough power. Just the one peat burner is not enough power. I probably need to connect this to whatever my greater power sources are going to be once I have other power sources. As it stands, I really don't have those other power sources here. More solar, I suppose, is going to be my power sources. Yeah, we'll have power on the other asteroid. That's great. All a process for sure. This still hasn't gotten to the Jabo. We're good for the next cycle, which is fantastic. Progress is being slightly made here. And we're out of fertilizer. We're out of brine ice? Is it too warm here? Is the brine ice just immediately melting? I think the brine ice is just immediately melting. It's too warm over here. Oh no. Stack them in a pyramid formation, only blocking 3 of the 7 tiles. What? Because it's 7 wide. Oh. So, like, you're saying... I guess if I left a little bit of space between them, I could stack it up here. So it was 3 left, 3 right, and then 1 open in the middle. I hadn't thought about that. I was just gonna keep building them out, but I guess I do run out of room at some point. So how much of the solar panel can be covered before it stops being useful? Is there doesn't it get limited, or you lose generation based on how much is covered? Okay. So does stacking give you more coverage then? Like, does stacking give you more power generation based on the coverage? Like, if it's just a given space out of the 7 produces a 7th of what the solar panel would produce, then covering a space of solar panel with more solar panel does nothing. Right? That's just 1 for 1. This is where an Excel spreadsheet gets involved. Okay, so it sounds like there is a formula that is not just each space is 1/7 of the power production. And I don't suppose that information is present here. That would be too easy. Plus a curve applied based on time of day. Sure, yeah, no, I'm familiar with that problem. I know how solar works. I've played Factorio. Okay. I guess I believe you. So presumably that's triangles, right? You want 2 layers of solar panel, not a 3rd layer of solar panel, so that no solar panel has more than 3 of its spaces covered. And then the upper layer, the 2nd layer of solar panels is completely uncovered. Is this the plan? I'll believe that. Up to 3 layers? If it's up to 3 layers, then... Oh, I guess you just don't put a solar panel in the one spot that's fully covered. So you end up with... Yeah, but you still end up with multiple solar panels in the same space as long as none of them have more than 3 of their panels covered. 5 solar panels, 3 layers high. Okay. Okay, I'll believe that. At the moment, I have 2 solar panels built, so it's really not an immediate concern. But that definitely sounds like a thing that I want to look into once I have enough glass to build more solar panels, which is an ongoing concern. We do not currently have the power to make the glass to make the additional solar panels. It does look like we're finally getting enough hydrogen, though, for this thing to be constantly running. Which maybe means at some point soon, second hydrogen generator? How are we on oxygen generation, actually? $181 was used, 156 was produced. $10K produced. Or no, 1,000 produced, 950. No, 950 produced, 1,000 used. We have had cycles where we've gone above 1,000, but mostly we're at just slightly below the use rate, which means I need another one of these bad boys. Preferably somewhere else where it would be more useful, like here maybe. Spread out the oxygen production here maybe. Spread out the oxygen production a bit more. Once I can mass produce glass. Yes, that is, of course, the concern. We still haven't gotten the mutated seed, unfortunately. But hopefully soon, we'll be able to get in there. And these poor megafrons fully consumed all of the chlorine gas. There is no value here. Growth halted. Yeah, there was a bunch of chlorine here, and then I planted any number of megafrons, and it all disappeared. Okay, so the megafrons need to be in a place where I am pumping chlorine into. That is, I think, what I am hearing here. So maybe this gas reservoir that pumps chlorine, where I've stored the chlorine, we can set up a chlorine room for megafrons? All of this stored chlorine can go somewhere. How reasonable is it to pump the chlorine from here to here? It's a bit of a trek. But it doesn't seem unreasonable. You can also redirect the chlorine from here. All of these are unfertilized because there's no more brine ice. Like, he excretes brine ice. And then it just immediately melts. I'm gonna watch this guy. Just ate. Oh, brine ice. It's happening. Yeah. Maybe don't hang it down there. This needs to be a joint plate. This can't be a joint plate? I guess it's too close to the water sieve? Rebuild the water sieves. or send this through something else. Okay. How do I want to do this? I guess we can do this. Like this? It's not like this door is doing me much good. I could just deconstruct all of this and then not worry about it. I can put a door somewhere else. So that'll just go through. This door will get deconstructed. And we'll set up a door like here, I guess? How are we going to get power from here out then? Oh, look at all that orange. I hope we never have to go in here again. I hope no one is dumb enough to ever go in here. In fact, yes, permissions are off. Fantastic. Eduardo earned a skill point. Oh, fantastic. That's so good for you. +2 power banks. What are power banks? I guess that's how much power you can store? That doesn't change how much power you go through. Just how much power you can hold on to. Give you a booster processing slot. Improved hardware? Maybe improved hardware. Sure. And then we can have you be immune to toasty surroundings and chilly surroundings. That'd be great. Okay. All right, yeah. So this is just waiting on this to get kickstarted. Where are you going? Should I have you not do that? I mean, this does need to get built, but I kind of don't want you to build it now if you are hurting. Okay, so then let's set up a door here for now. Prioritize that. And Herald's not allowed through. Not while injured. Harold can go do cooking. Toasty surroundings. Which is fine the moment he leaves. Okay, that's fine. And there's enough food. There's enough food. This is happening. I don't need this to happen, actually, Lindsay. Thank you for your help. But maybe do this one instead. Or go farming, sure. Does anybody here operate? Any of you idiots doing the thing? Not at a high priority. Devinok can. When he's not digging or farming. Alright, let's make Devinok do it then. Oh, here we go. It's happening. Let's see if this system works. Heck yeah, that is exactly what I wanted. Okay, so the only problem with this is it's right now the polluted water is running to sieves and not running to anything else from there. So that needs to be, you know, that needs to be remedied. This needs to be a mesh tile here. So we have a bunch of polluted water that we're not doing anything with at the moment. So maybe I will run that to a liquid reservoir over here for now. Just so that it has a place to put the polluted water. And otherwise, this is working pretty much exactly the way I want it to. Pipe blocked? Is it? Oh. This doesn't work. This doesn't work. I see. It can't produce when it's on top of it. Right. Ooh. This never got completed. Oh no. All right. One problem discovered in the system. One of several problems discovered in the system. And the deal here is we need ventilation. This needs to go this way. How long does this heat resistant last? 0.2 cycles. So it's not bad. It's not a lot, but it's not bad. That's, I guess, 240 seconds? 120 seconds? 0.2 cycles, a fifth of a cycle, is 2 minutes. Yeah, 120 seconds. Basic white pants, I suppose. And how are we doing over here? Fine. Everything's okay is how we're doing here. This is a work in progress. Love that. These poor megafrons are still not growing because the chlorine production here... I think the chlorine production here was entirely from dartles. And I got those dartles got et. There's no more dartles out there. So I do need to send chlorine over there. Or put up megafrons in my dartle farm, wherever my dartle farm is going to be. We could put up megafrons in here, I guess, as long as there aren't dew drippers in the way. Which there are in a lot of places. Instead of dew drippers, there could be megafrons in some of this location. Perhaps. Takes up 3 spots, I think. So if I could put it up here, and then these 3 would be traded out, or here, for example. Let's try that, actually. I'm into this. Let's turn that into a regular farm tile. And see how well this works for me. Copy these settings over. Ah, I have to uproot these first. At least this one, and maybe both around it. How do you feel now? You still make poker shells, huh? This is still not enough water? New printables are available. Are they food? Actually, we're good on food here. Look at all that brisket. Damn. What died? What died? Did a lum die? One of my lums must have died. Yeah, there's only 4 up here. Grab some eggs, and I think we can crack one as well. And then they won't be cramped. Advanced caffeination? Is that relevant to my interests? Who knows? Possible. Solid filter. Oh, for this stuff. High velocity transport. Launches interplanetary payloads between planetoids. Sure, I'm into that. I guess I can continue the research on bracking flow here. Not much else is happening. Oh, that reminds me. There were lockers I didn't look at. Other planet. Let's do some reading. Look around and recover an old file. Alright, so this was the first one. This is the second one. Started work at a new company called the Gravitas facility today. Was nervous I wouldn't get the job at first because I was fresh out of school and I was so pushy in the interview. But the director apparently liked my thesis on the physiological thermal regulation of Arctic lizards. I'll be working with some brilliant geneticists, bioengineering organisms for space travel in harsh environments. It's like a dream come true. I get to work on exciting new research in a place where no one knows me. No. Can't be. Banhi Ansari is here, working on space shuttle thrusters in the robotics lab. As soon as she saw me, she called me Bubbles and told everyone about the time I accidentally inhaled a bunch of fungal spores during lab, blew a snot bubble out of my nose, and then sneezed all over Professor Avery. Everyone's calling me Bubbles instead of Doctor at work now. Some of them don't even know it's a nickname, but I don't want to correct them and seem rude or anything. Ugh, can't believe that story followed me here. Banhi ruins everything! Does Banhi ruin everything? I don't know that about Banhi. It's possible. Certainly possible that Banhi ruins everything. Ants. Atacephalotes. What sort of experiment are you doing with these? No experiment. I just find them interesting. Don't you? Not really. You ought to. Very efficient. They perfected farming millions of years before humans. An entire colony led by and in service to its queen. Each organism knows its role. I have the results from the power test, Director. And? Negative, ma'am. I see. You know, another admirable quality of ants occurs to me. They can pull 20 times their own weight. I'm not sure I follow, ma'am. Are you pulling your weight, Doctor? Wow, rude. He's about to get fired because he's not an ant. Pipe dream. The director has suggested implanting artificial memories during print, but despite the great strides made in our research under her direction, such a thing can barely be considered more than a pipe dream. For the moment, we remain focused on eliminating the remaining glitches in the system, as well as developing effective education and training routines for printed subjects. Suggest omega-3 supplements and mentally stimulating enclosure apparatuses to accompany tutelage. Dr. Broussard signing off. And we have the second entry in this log, I guess. I've been so tired lately. I've probably spent the last 3 nights sleeping at my desk, and I've used the lab safety shower to bathe twice already this month. We're technically on schedule, but for some reason Director Stern has been breathing down my neck to get these new products ready for market. Normally I'd be mad about the added pressure on my work, but something in the director's voice tells me the time is of the essence. I keep finding myself staring at my computer screen, totally unable to remember what it was I was doing. Mood! God. Me every day of my life. I try to force myself to type up some notes or analyze my data, but it's like my brain is paralyzed. I can't get anything done. I'll have to stay late to make up for all this time I've wasted staying late. Wow. Well, I definitely want my people to recover these data banks for me, because then I don't have to go to space. I can spend a little bit longer not going to space. This needs to be worked on and is in the process of being worked on, I suppose? Yeah, this doesn't help me as much as the construction would help me. So somebody down here needs to prioritize building. And I suppose it is Harold when he is not cooking. Alright. Ranching for Lindsay. There is no ranching going on here. But maybe eventually? Maybe eventually. The high velocity destruction beyond that research sounds relevant to our interest. I mean, there's a lot of things in all of this research and all of these notes that are relevant to our interest. Like, this is cool and all, but this does not help right now. Alright, let's have you stop doing the thing. And then we'll disconnect it for now. And once this gets connected, we can kickstart it again, although we won't need to because this has power. Okay, and then this means that if I go into, not plumbing, ventilation, I can disconnect this. Not yet. Circuit overloaded. Really? This one? I believe that it's possible, but most of the time it shouldn't. Poor Sweeby. Alright, I'm not going to worry about that. Is there damage? New printables. Idilla seeds. Doesn't really do much for me. I'm not printing people. I'm not, we are not in that space yet. I guess print the Idilla seeds? I think that doesn't matter. Printing Idilla seeds very mildly better than printing nothing. This wire is overloading. Here. 2,500 grams is 2.5 kilograms? A tenth of the price. Yes, okay. I guess it's because of these idiots. Now that there is a third egg, that's too much power. On top of all the other things that are running. Yeah, alright. I'd believe that. What do I want to do about it? Disconnect one of these eggs? Disconnect something else? I'm not sure that this actually needs to happen. Especially with all this hydrogen, I'm not sure that this is happening at all. There's a lot of hydrogen up here. Jeez. Okay, can I redirect this? This is filtering chlorine to here, and everything else is being filtered, being sent here. Which filters oxygen, and then filters out. I could send this out over to our hydrogen filter instead of to this vent, which I kind of like. What's that upper setup doing? Yeah, this was so that chlorine wouldn't get out into my base. And there's just not that much chlorine production out here. So it's not nearly as high a priority as I thought it was going to be. Like, the only part of this setup that produces chlorine is dartles. And the dartles die before, before they can produce much chlorine. Does this work? I feel like sometimes this doesn't work. So what I'd have to do instead is this. That's shale. This is fine. Food, fine. Power use, I get it. Circuit overloaded, that's fine. I'm not going to worry about it right now. Many things I am not going to worry about right now. Are you ready to give me Santa shells? Still not. How much water do I need here before you're ready to give me Santa shells? Does this need to be like a full thing of water? Do we need to flood the grooming station? Pete's getting delivered, so that's probably good for us. We are net positive on hydrogen, it seems. Alright, so this now is doing the thing. Alright, this one will trigger off of hydrogen now. We'll see if that works out for me. And that's going to overload the circuit for sure. Yeah, I see the problem. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure that this setup is even necessary at this point. But it would be a convenient way to get hydrogen into storage, considering that hydrogen is just kind of everywhere now. What do I do about this? Yeah, currently overloaded. Can I see exactly what's running on this network? I can. Gas filter, pump, and 3 incubators. Which is, in fact, overloading, yeah. I guess if I remove one of the incubators, it won't be overloaded. So we'll just do that for now. Idleness. That's a new one. All right, this is working now, which which means we do that. And that. And then that. This is working. And this looks like it is broadly working. So now the trick is we just got to finish building all the stuff that's down here. Who's idle? You really have nothing to do? Oh, you have nothing to do because I'm not letting you pass the door. Because you're injured. But alright, well, let's let you pass the door. And we have to finish getting power to these idiots. That probably looks like... Even if I'm not letting you pass the door, I can give you something to do. You can have work. Yep, no problem with food. That's great. And somebody is stressed out. Travaldo, why are you stressed out? Reveal to me your problems. Today's net stress minus 8%. Okay. Cool. Very cool. I guess it's not a problem. Yeah, food is no longer a problem. Everything's great. And we'll need to make some more of these. One or more crops are wilting. It's true. One or more crops are wilting. Again? Wow. Even after swapping things out, I guess when Sweepy's up and running, that does, in fact, cause problems. Yeah, the incubators just need to be on their own network, I agree. How am I doing that? Okay. We can set up a transformer here. do this. And this. Connect that up. And just disconnect them here. But I will wait to disconnect them until after this is set up. Now that that's good, that can be connected. It also means we can reconnect this. Y'all want to finish connecting this, by the way? Please? Anybody? Hello? Like, this stuff got finished immediately, and this nobody cares about? Oh. I see. I'm building it with the wrong materials. I don't know why I'm building it out of copper. Where did we even find copper? Alright, there we go. The incubating has continued to occur. And how are we doing over here? People alive and well? What are you doing here, buddy? Confined. I guess I need to ladder down to here if they're gonna actually finish building this out. Lindsay's being miserable. How are we doing on... We're pretty good on storage here, so that's cool. Yeah, this system is working. I'm pretty happy with this. Now we just got to figure out what to do with the polluted water. Like, we just got to get the oil actually moving. Which, like, feels like we're close. Feels like we're close. This all needs to get built out. Yeah, there's no way down here yet, so they can deliver to this, but they'd have to come down here in order to actually build this out. Which, we haven't gotten there yet. Gelato's doing great. Making some veggie poppers. Nothing happening at the moment. A lot of brisket. Are people eating the lettuce? People could just eat the lettuce, I think. I don't think I have a better choice than that. Like, it's not... That's not great. But I don't know what else I could do with it. Roast grubfruit nut. We have spindly grubfruit? No, we've just seen it. I think lettuce only plays into the higher tier of grilling that I don't currently have. Because I don't have a source of natural gas anywhere here. Oh, we'll be able to make some great food on the other planet, though. Maybe that'll be their export. They'll export great food. Alright, so I gotta figure out, once this is all put together, what we're doing with the oil. Because it needs to be processed. And I'm not sure if I want to process it here, or process it on the other asteroid. I suspect I want to process it here. That is a question. Crude oil gets processed into petroleum. And then I can send the petroleum over to the other asteroid, and that can be an additional source of power too, because that continues to be a problem. That's an idea. Alright, is this enough to plant a megafrond? It is not. This is mostly carbon dioxide in here. Might need to make some airflow tiles. There is some chlorine. There is some oxygen. Oh, if I'm trying to keep chlorine in here, I can't make airflow tiles. Ugh. Maybe I'm just not trying to keep chlorine in here. Maybe this whole setup was foolish from the beginning. How are we on refined metals right now? I've got some of the aluminum is still kicking around. I haven't decided what to do about that yet. Well, we've got a chunk of nickel and a chunk of iron. Got a bunch of iron, actually? That's interesting. How are we doing over here with the refined aluminum? I think as long as this thing is not dormant, we are not touching it. Because it does take a while to cool down. I mean, I guess I could dump it in, like, the brine down here or something. That's not the worst idea. It's not going to flow there on its own, but I could open up like another ladder or something. Could do this. And then it should cool off a bit by hitting the brine down here. And then we'll have pickled aluminum. That's good, right? Alright, well, overall, my dupes seem far happier than I expected, given where we started this stream. And I have made really good progress on the infra over here in Grissona, so that feels great. But I do need to call the stream a little early today because I'm doing, I have some evening plans. I'm babysitting for my sister, so I'm gonna call it for now. But lots more stuff to do, lots more stuff to look forward to, and I'm getting realistically close to having blast shot production ready in time to deal with Demolior before Demolior demolios my entire asteroid. So, that's great. That's great. I didn't, I wasn't sure that I was actually expecting to resolve this appropriately. I kind of, once we hit cycle 100 and I hadn't even started on oil production, I was like, you know what? I think we're just gonna get hit. But, it's definitely taken some time. It's taken some work. It's taken some effort, but it's actually looking realistic now. So that's great. That's wild, but that's great. But yeah, I think we are saving here and calling it for now.